So this video is titled, Worrying Means You Suffer Twice. And it's a quote from the movie Fantastic Beasts. What this quote means is that you spend all this time worrying about something that may never happen. And even if it does happen, you suffered twice because you worried and worried yourself about it, and you still had to go through it. Hey there, I'm Dina, and welcome back to my channel. So today, I'm going to be teaching you my top 3 tips to how to stop yourself from worrying and wasting your energy and suffering twice. So I want to first start off by saying that worrying about something, it doesn't prevent it from happening. It just amplifies your suffering by dwelling on a potential negative outcome. Worrying is like carrying around this heavy umbrella everywhere you go in the off chance that a hurricane might come. You feel like you'll be prepared. But even if a hurricane comes, that umbrella isn't going to help you. You're still going to suffer through this hurricane. So why burden yourself by carrying a heavy umbrella or worrying all the time? All you're doing is suffering and dwelling on the potential negative outcome. All right, so here are my 3 major tips on how to worry less and stop yourself from worrying. So my first tip is to live as if the outcome that you're desiring has already happened. So for instance, I was just in a lawsuit where I was so worried about what was going to happen. I was so sickened by it and thinking about it and worrying about it. And the only thing that got me through it was living as if it was already over. I would literally dance around my room with my arms up and be like, I'm free of it. And I would feel what that felt like of being free from it. And I would just dance around with my arms up, just saying I'm free and tapping into that feeling of what that's going to feel like when the lawsuit's over and living as if it already happened. Use my example to come up with your own mantra that you can repeat over and over again to tap into what that's going to feel like when your desired outcome happens. So my second tip on how to stop worrying is to focus on the solution rather than the problem. So if you're so focused on your problem, think about all the possible solutions to it. Write them out. Think of every possible scenario. Get it out of your thoughts and onto paper. And then you don't have to be so worried about it because you have all of these solutions ready to go. By focusing on the solution rather than the problem, you're avoiding all this unnecessary worrying and suffering. So my third tip on how to worry less is to use your imagination for a possible positive outcome versus using your imagination to worry about a possible negative outcome. Worrying is your imagination gone wrong. You're using this beautiful creative mind of yours to imagine this horrible negative outcome. So instead, use your mind and your imagination to come up with a positive outcome. Only think of that positive outcome and focus on that. I used this technique when I was going through my lawsuit. I would use my imagination to dream up the best possible scenario, and then I would replay it in my mind over and over again. I would picture my lawyer calling me up. He was going to tell me it went my way. I was like, I can't believe it, it's over, this is so great. I was so excited. I imagined me hugging my boyfriend and spinning me around. I imagined telling my family. And I kept picturing this scenario over and over again. I used my imagination to picture the best possible outcome. And then that outcome actually happened. A week later, after picturing it, that exact scenario happened. My lawyer called me, he told me it went my way, my boyfriend picked me up and spun me around, and I called my family. That exact thing happened. Now, I'm not here saying that everything you imagine is going to happen, just like it did with my lawsuit. But what a waste of energy worrying about the worst case scenario, the worst outcome. Instead, focus and channel that energy into the best possible outcome. Because even if the worst possible scenario happens, you won't have suffered twice. You'll only have to go through it once. I'm not going to say that everything's going to go your way, because sometimes it doesn't, but the majority of the time it does. So don't waste your time worrying about the possibility of something that may never happen, and instead channel that energy into a possible positive outcome and only focus on that. All right, so to recap my 3 major tips on how to worry less, we have tip number 1, live as if your desired outcome already happened. Use that example of me dancing around in my room, going, I'm free of this lawsuit. Use my mantra to help you come up with your own, to tap into what it's going to feel like when your desired outcome happens. Tip number 2 is focus on a solution versus worrying about the problem, because all you're going to do is tap into that unnecessary suffering. And tip number 3 is use your imagination to dream up a possible positive outcome versus dreaming of the negative outcome. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it as always. And I hope the next time you catch yourself worrying that this quote pops into your mind, that worrying means you suffer twice. There's no reason you have to suffer twice. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen either way. So don't waste your time and energy worrying, and instead think about the best possible scenario.